Welcome everybody. This is the SKALE workshop, and today I'll be speaking. John Frost, I'm the solutions engineer. I run the validators, help with the dApp integration and partner integrations. Part of this presentation is also going to be with Sawyer, who's over there to the left. He's part of the SKALE team. He's a software engineer. And in the room, we've also got some SKALE team members. So maybe you guys can put your hands up. And I'm going to quickly go around. So we've got Jack, we've got Jace, Nicole, Fabio. I'm sorry if someone's behind that light because I can't see you. There's Connor. And yeah, so that if you guys have any questions, by all means, come to speak to any of the team members or go to the booth as well. Straight after this, we actually have a lightning talk from, 30 minutes after this, we've got a lightning talk from Jack. So I don't want to steal his thunder on SKALE and its overview, but essentially SKALE is a proof-of-stake decentralized infrastructure platform that is EVM compatible. There's a lot of key features, like zero gas fees, it's very modular, it's very flexible, and so forth. But the agenda, we're deciding upon what we're going to discuss today, and I just wanted to showcase a couple of things. The title is How to Leverage SKALE Tools to Build Zero Gas Fee dApps. What I wanted to do is just showcase how easy it is to mint and deploy NFTs on the SKALE chain. So I'll just do a deploy and mint. After that, I'll showcase how you can actually put it up to the file storage. We've got a GUI for that, just uploading the ones that I've minted, and I've got some traits. Metaports, that is essentially going from SKALE chain to SKALE chain, which is very new, just released. And the second part is Sawyer, where he'll talk about the sFUEL station, the SKALE Chain UI dashboard, which is also very new, and we'll follow that up with Q&A. So let's get to the good stuff as well. We've got plenty of prizes here, and if you're going to impress anyone, you got Jace and Connor, who are the judges. Jace loves coffee, Connor espresso martini. Prizes, we've got 5,000, so that is for one dApp. Then we've got 8,000 for Metaverse Gaming NFT prizes, 2,000 for partners, so that can be the Graph Connects, any of our partners in our ecosystem. And then we've got 5,000 for the prize pool, which will be evenly divided among the teams. But I just wanted to highlight some important links as you guys kind of like go through hacking, and it's, specifically on obviously SKALE. We've got the hackathon SKALE.network that includes like the documentation, some endpoints, sFUEL and file storage. SKALE Space, that is essentially like developer docs. That's just kind of our general website, the blog, and you've also got Discord, where you can just reach out to us. You've got GitHub, so that's the SKALE network, so that's just the public repos with a lot of readmes, and then you've also got our stats page, which is a lot of statistics and metrics that keep going up, which is awesome. So let's kind of kick this off. So this is the demo that I wanted to showcase today. I'm going to close this presentation down and just showcase two things here. So on the left, we've got Block Scout, which is a block explorer. And on the right-hand side, we've got the repo that I actually created for this event. And you guys can use it if you want to. The intended use, as I've kind of written here, is for this event. Sure, we can use it. You can use it for other events, but the project setup, there's some requirements here. You can clone the SKALE demo, just npm packages, setting the environment variables there, creating a private key, sFUEL, compile, deploy, and then you're essentially just going to do the minting. So it's a 5-step process, easy to get up and running for you. So instead of making you guys watch me download all these packages and whatnot, I've already kind of gone ahead and updated my env. You can see here that I've already done the deployment of the address right here. And just below it, what I'm going to do is essentially just mint some tokens. So what we'll do is I'll just run this, and you can see, and I'll bring up the Explorer on the left side, and essentially you can see, look at these transactions are coming through right here. And what I've done is used MTM multi-transaction mode and essentially minted these, and you can see them in the Block Explorer. So that's the creation, so I'm just going to refresh this, and then essentially what it's doing here is you can actually see, I'll refresh it again, and then you can see there'll be essentially, there's 31 here, and let me open this up a little bit more, and it'll be on the blocks, and then you'll essentially see the 100 that's there. So you can see I just minted 100 tokens. That's how easy it is and how fast it is to essentially deploy and mint some tokens. On the actual minting, I actually created some special traits. You can add whatever you guys want to those. Essentially use your own. And one awesome thing that not many people know about Scale, and I got it on the shirt here too, is our file storage. So you can upload any asset you want to the actual Scale chain yourself. This is a simple kind of overview of file storage and how it's decentralized, and it tells you about the space that you've got, and it walks you through the npm install. But just on the right-hand side, you can see like how you can upload files, delete files, create directories, and so forth. So I did go ahead before, and this is the GUI that we just released as well. So you can go here, you can essentially upload files here, and what I did is one of the NFTs I minted is you just select it here, and you can actually see this one there. And then this is just essentially the traits and whatnot. So I brought that up before, and you can actually see, hey, that's the color, that's the stamina, and so forth. So that was the second part of the second part of the talk, and then I'm going into the third part, which is the Scale Chain to Scale Chain, and this is the Metaport. Again, this is something fresh and new that we've just released. This is our staging environment, as you can see, staging v3. Right here, we've got the dog chain, which is essentially the origin chain, and then the cat chain, which is the receiver, essentially cloned there. And you can click on these. You've got the Explorer, you've got all the RPC, all that jazz. You can see MTM's enabled up here. And I'll go back here. It's going to be exactly the same for the cat, the receiver. And you guys can go here. So metaport.demo scale nodes, and you guys can play around with this. We've got a lot of cool stuff on the left-hand side here. Sandbox, so that essentially just opens up the widget for you to play around with. All this is just an interface whereby your application, and you can implement the widget, which I'll show you in a second, onto your application. But you've got different colors, different, whatever color you prefer there. This one, I'm keeping on the NFT theme. You can see ERC 721, 1155 there. But I didn't actually highlight these, so this is Scale Chain to Scale Chain. I'll click on these. So you can just play around with these. You can go to the sandbox at the top. You can do the wrapped ETH there. But yeah, going back here, for example, I am going to move from dog chain to cat chain. And you can do it back as well. But you can see there's the collection. I've got 7 out of 100 there. If I do, for example, 2, and I want to move it, what you can see on the right-hand side is the widget. So this automatically fills the chains in here, and then also the metals. You can see this is token ID 1, token ID 2, token ID 3, and the amount. See, I just put in 2, it automatically does 2. And then I just do the transfer and I sign for this confirm. And then what we can do is I'll refresh this. And what you can see it there, right there. So you can see 2, that was the token ID 1. So you can see that's transferred to Scale Chain. And the awesome thing is here, you can see the post incoming messages here, and you can see the 2 and then 1. And if you want to, you can just send it back and essentially do the same process there. But if you guys just want to play around with it, use the sandbox and so forth. Lastly, I just wanted to highlight the repo for the Metaport that you guys can use. And this is the hackathon SKALE.network that you guys can use here. Jace did a great job of just updating this recently. It just talks about deploying on SKALE, using file storage, and you just put in your endpoint there and your wallet, and you can get sFUEL and reserve some space. And Sawyer, I don't want to steal your thunder. This is essentially moving over to you with the sFUEL station, and I wanted to lastly just show some awesome stats that we've got that's just refreshing here. You can see anyone can go to this. It's not as if it's internal. You can see the total transaction count, the total gas fees, and that's going back to the initial point where SKALE is gas free. So yeah, to just recap, what we did was we essentially deployed. We minted some NFTs. We moved those NFTs to file storage. You could see it in the GUI. And then, you saw the Metaport where I was just moving the NFTs between 2 different chains. So I'll end it there on my half, and then Sawyer will take it away with the rest of the community tools. And we'll have Q&A at the end, and I'm going to invite Connor up to help with that as well.
All right, everybody. I am Sawyer. As John mentioned, I am part of the solutions engineering team with SKALE, and I'm going to follow up on the amazing kind of technical pieces available to the SKALE network and talk a little bit more about the tooling that's available and how you can use it to make amazing zero gas fee dApps on SKALE. So to start off, user experience is key, right? So blockchain, everybody knows, whether you're a user or a developer, it's really complicated still. A lot of people are doing amazing things to simplify that, but ultimately, sorry guys, I flipped the head on accident. Simple onboarding is a common trait in Web 2. Not so much for Web 3. Anybody ever asked their parent or their grandmother to use MetaMask? It's not so simple. Additionally, Web 2, whether it's the Twitters or different Gmails and stuff like that, generally they're free to use, right? Or at least they have a freemium option. And lastly, they use just common things to onboard, whether it's email or text, right? You get your codes through things that everybody has, or at least most people in the world have them. Web 3, on the other hand, most blockchains require constant payment just for usage, right? Gas fees and all sorts of things there, you're constantly getting chipped away at. Additionally, while we have this bleeding edge technology, crypto wallets are not really friendly to the average user. And so what I'm going to talk about kind of throughout the rest of this is one of the key components of SKALE, which is not just the tooling in general, but more specifically sFUEL. So sFUEL is, as many of the SKALE people know, one of the things I love because I've worked on it quite a bit. And you can actually see that top left picture is the sFUEL station that John alluded to earlier. And it's kind of the precursor to sFUEL. So sFUEL is not gas. It's actually stands for SKALE Fuel. And it effectively represents the ability for any user to transact on any SKALE chain entirely for free. They don't have to pay money. And that's a really, really big statement. Following that up with SKALE's infinite scalability, you effectively have the ability for any user anywhere in the world to use a SKALE chain entirely for free at any time, as long as the service is there and they're running on SKALE. That being said, getting started with SKALE, right, is kind of similar to many other blockchains, except we have some way cooler tools, in my opinion, because I built a lot of them. The file storage UI, I did not build, but the sFUEL station and the SKALE Chain UI, I did build the original versions, and I'm very proud of them, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them here in greater detail. So the sFUEL station, and I have a little video here. We're going to hopefully make this work. maybe. There we go. Okay, it's running. So you can see MetaMask or Rainbow Kit is popping up, and I'm automatically connected. Just like that, my wallet's connected. I click Fuel Wallet, which is that little black box. My address is in the field, and we should see a spinning wheel in a second. There might be a little delay. There we go. And now I'm changing the theme because I love dark mode because I'm a developer. But if there's light mode, or if you like light mode, it's there for you. And there we go. We can actually see, I know it's a little bit small, apologize, but what that little green text on the bottom was the list of chains that you actually just got filled up on with sFUEL. It was CryptoBlades, SKALE Community Chain, the Calypso NFT Hub, Europa Liquidity Hub, and the Razor Network. And so what this basically means is, as a user, right, instead of having to go to Coinbase or go through a fiat on-ramp or Binance, whatever it may be, purchase Ethereum or some other token, transfer it out to a wallet, and then get started with DeFi or NFT marketplaces, you can just go to the sFUEL station, connect your wallet, fill up, and go start using one of these dApps that does not require you to effectively be blocked by a paywall, because SKALE basically removes that blocker, right? It's a community tool, which is really amazing. It takes about 3 clicks, fully open source, and overall, it's just kind of that first step in a really smooth onboarding experience to the SKALE network. That's kind of the user experience side. Now, on the other side here, there we go, is the SKALE Chain UI, right? So clean user experience, really important for a blockchain. But on the flip side, I'm a developer. Building on most blockchains is really, really difficult. Most of the tools are either lacking in documentation, they're half-baked, they don't work, whatever it may be. I won't lie, the SKALE Chain UI is a little bit half-baked. I'm the one that built it. It's currently undergoing an entire facelift, which I'll show you some mock-ups in a second. But I'm going to use a couple analogies here to kind of explain why this tool is so important to the SKALE ecosystem. SKALE chains, you can have a lot of them. You can technically have an infinite amount of them. And they can all connect together. And the cool part is they're actually effectively dApp chains, right? So technically, every company in the world could have their own SKALE chain if everybody wanted to use SKALE, which would be awesome. That being said, not everybody is technically minded in blockchain or in SKALE technology right this second to be able to get going right away. The SKALE Chain UI takes all this complexity and basically abstracts it away for the SKALE chain owner or for the user that's in charge of setting up the chain for the company or for the dApp or for the project. It does this by basically taking all the amazing smart contracts built by the core engineering team at SKALE and putting a nice GUI on top of them. I've basically alluded it to Web3 ops, so for any of the engineers here, DevOps, I hate DevOps, I'm not a fan. It's basically the DevOps for Web3. So it's kind of taking all that functionality of administering something and putting it right in your hands. That being said, the pictures are small on purpose. It's really ugly. I'm not a front-end developer, but where it's going is somewhere more along the lines of this, which is still a little bit small, but one of the product designers at SKALE was amazing, helped kind of redesign this. We took feedback from a whole slew of community members, and over the course of the next couple months, we're actually going to be basically rebuilding the entire thing from the ground up. We're going to get more community members involved, and what we're going to effectively do is build the best administrative kind of tool available so that anybody, regardless of technical ability, can come to the SKALE network, use this tool with their new SKALE chain that they just got spun up, and deploy on SKALE. And a couple more pictures. You guys can see multi-sig wallet. Multi-sig is really good for security, right? There will be a whole, currently there is an abstraction for it, but like I said, not that pretty. That's much nicer. And then SKALE Chain Manager, things like multi-transaction mode that John showed off earlier, you can actually toggle that on and off. Doing it requires touching a smart contract. In this case, connect MetaMask, click a button. So things like that can just be, abstracted away, much simpler. And lastly, just want to say thank you to everybody. It's a pleasure to speak. And like I said, these are community tools that I'm showing off. If you're a developer here this weekend and you're not really sure what to build, instead of building a dApp, try building a tool for the SKALE network because there's plenty of stuff left to build. Thank you.